Yeah. Thank you for all your love and support. So this article coming to you from ndtv.com, right? All right. Who's the article? I don't know. Does it say? Let's see. No, I don't see it. But yeah, thank you to ndtv.com. All right. So guys, let's dig into this food. Rip, Rupee hits new all-time low as dollar climbs to 20-year peak. Tell you, man, it's not just rupee. All around the world, rupee today. The rupee weakened to a new record low beyond 80 per dollar early on Thursday as greenback climbed to a fresh two-decade high. The rupee weakened to a new record low early on Thursday as the greenback climbed to a fresh two-decade high after the U.S. Federal Reserve hiked interest rates and projected a more aggressive policy path in the current tightening cycle. Bloomberg quoted the rupee at 80.4863 against the greenback after hitting 80.4875, a record low compared to its previous close of just below the psychological key 80 per dollar mark. PTI report that the domestic currency fell 42 pays to a fresh all-time low of 80.38 against the US dollar in early trade. Forex traders said that the strength of the American currency in the overseas market, a muted trend is domestic equities risk off moods from firm crude oil prices weigh on local unit according to the PTI. That's because there's a great demand for the US currency. And of course, mixed with volatility and inflation at record breaking numbers in all of these so called third world countries. Given the broad dollar strength, the Reserve Bank of India too may look to revise its intervention function. We're likely to see a 80.10, 80.5 range on Thursday, IFA Global Research Academy told PTI. The dollar towered to a 20 peak on safe havens flow as the prospect of US interest rate rising further and faster than expected spooked investors. No crap, and that's what I said in the last video in that last article where we were talking about bonds, that people are taking their money out of the bank and they're putting it into more stabler investment because they're seeing what is going on. They're seeing what's going on. Who's pressing the button? Who's pushing for high interest rates? Still do whatever to the economy. You're gonna always have this influx and fluctuation. Some people are saying that this is good for the economy, to balance out the economy. I don't even know why all of a sudden, all of this start happening. All of this is just stifling innovation and killing our the middle class. Let's continue reading it. I'm just going to be in a drift. The dollar index, a gauge of the greenback's performance against six of its major peers, increased 0.2% to a record 20-year high of 111.72, up 2% this week and roughly 17% this year. After initial bout of volatility in the first couple hours after the Fed hike, the market has clearly sided with the US dollar, which offers a better carry and safe haven appeal as downside US and global growth fears percolate. David Croy, a strategist of Australia and New Zealand Banking Corp, told Bloomberg, and this is the same thing I was thinking the other day. The same thing. You want to let me read what I just read. Let me hear a quote. After an initial bout of volatility in the first couple of hours after the Fed hike, The market has clearly sided with the US dollar. Why? It offers better carry and safe haven appeal. As downside, US and global growth fears percolate. Even though the market is going to hell in the fire pit and back, hopefully. The resentment of the investors, majority of the investors are still holding on to the US currency because it have a safe haven appeal compared to a new industry that is coming in, pushing its heads through. And no, as appealing as it might seem, a lot of people are still afraid of the unknown. You know, it's people are more comfortable with the evil. You know that saying, people are more comfortable. I don't know who say it, but people are more comfortable with the evil that they know than the evil that they don't know. Let me change it up. People are more comfortable with something that they know than with something that they don't know. And that thing that you don't know might make the thing that you know look like it doesn't need it to exist. you know? So, let's go. According to Bloomberg, sentiment took an addition hit from Russia's escalation of its war with Ukraine and tension between Beijing and Taiwan, following Russia's first reservist mobilization since World War II. The euro sank to a 20-year low of 0.9807 dollar. That's basically 98 cents. The Australian, New Zealand, Canadian, Singaporean, and Chinese currencies fell to 2-year lows, while the value of the British pound fell to its lowest level in 37 years. Wow! As investors awaited a Bank of Japan meeting, the yen was close to a 24-year low, and they say, I don't know who said this, but they say, okay, they say that this storm have just started. It's just started. The Fed is not going to stop anytime soon. Somebody just said a while ago. And there's going to be an extended period of restrictive monetary policy for at least the next year or so. Sadly, wow. What else do you buy except for the US dollar at the moment? She added, citing growth clouds over Europe, Britain, and China, and the yen weakens. And the yen weakness as Japan holds interest rates low. Japan is making a lot of moves when it comes to crypto too as well. As investors priced out the possibility of a soft economic landing and prepared for harm to longer term growth, the US yield curve extended its inversion with short hand treasuries being sold and the longer hand surging. The chances of a soft landing are likely to diminish to the extent that policy needs to be more restrictive or restrictive for longer. Fed Chair Jerome Powell told reporters after the rate hike announcement, announcing that the Fed was strongly resolved to reduce inflation down to the target level of 2%. Jerome Powell vowed that the Fed will do so. He added that we will remain at it until the job is done, meaning that they're going to keep hiking interest rates, which is going to spike the inflation even hotter. We read about the record-breaking things that are happening right now. The phrase was a play on the memoir Keeping at It by farmer. So the phrase was a play on the memoir, quote, Keeping at It, unquote, by former Fed Chair Paul Volcker. In terms of Asia, I think the Federal Reserve outcome is likely to keep pressure on risk assets. Clara Xiong, a global market strategist at JP Morgan Asset Management, said that's too much, man. It could especially hurt export-oriented companies due to the effect of a strong dollar. South Korea's won weakened past the 1400 threshold to the greenback for the first time since 2009, and the won weakened as the China set its reference rate for the currency stronger than expected around the 21st day. See the control that the American government have on the world with all this sanction and this inflation that is being caused to level out the ecosystem, the economy. What just happened? We just barely crawled through COVID. What economic crash is going on right now that wasn't going on 10 years ago? But it was going on, but we were forced to ignore it because nobody was talking about it. Nobody was writing about it until it started actually happening. Now it's starting to happen, and now everybody's writing and talking about it. Okay. We got to be smart, man. This is where they're hiding all the information, guys. This is where they're hiding all the information in the write-ins. We have to read. So thank you again to ndtv.com for this article here. I enjoyed it. As you can see, it brought out a vibe in me. Anyway, so guys, prescribe, share, subscribe, prescribe, share, like, comment, engage, share some ideas. You know what I say? Help me to build the thing and to spread the thing and to spread the vibe, man. To read, man. Read is fundamental. Read is fun to mental. All right. Later.